where "Thank You Very Cool" came from. About 3 years ago, Trump and Kanye had a meeting, and after the meeting, Kanye tweeted, Trump, I can actually read it. "You don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. We are both dragon energy. He is my brother. I love everyone. I don't agree with with everything anyone does. That's what makes us individuals, and we have the right to independent thought." And Trump tweeted back, "Thank you, Kanye. Very cool."
Yes. Oh, God. Yes. Welcome back to Is It Still Good? This is the show with two grown-up film students who hate growing up. Welcome you to season 2 of the show. In case you're just joining us for the first time, this is the show where a demonic entity has cursed us horribly. It has forced us to take off our rose-colored glasses and to fire them at children and have those glasses cross into the real world and cause all kinds of destruction before being stopped by one of those very children. And so we are without the glasses. It is without those rose-colored spectacles that we are forced to look upon the culture of our past. I'm Bear Kennedy. I am in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Joining me, as always,
Season 2, we did it. We got renewed. We renewed ourselves. We negotiated some great back ends and some raises, residuals. Andrew Carter in Los Angeles. And we have a very special guest today. But before I get into that, just wanted to also welcome you to season 2, and also say that if you're new to the show, what Bear means when he does all the references to what the show is about, which is about, looking back into the past and wondering if the pop culture is still good. He always references it applicably to what we're talking about. And what he just did was brilliant. I just have to say that. Our special guest today is our dear friend, Colby McCollough. So Bear is in Minnesota with Colby, where Colby lives, recently married. Colby, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Excited.
Happy to have you, man. So we are discussing Korn's 1998 classic, Follow the Leader. Colby suggested this. Colby said he's been listening to Korn recently. Why?
Okay, so
he's got a lot of angst he needs to work out, and Jonathan Davis is a wonderful vehicle for that.
Yeah, exactly. Confused with JD.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
JD's gonna hear this and be like, "The fuck? I'm not in Korn. Fuck you guys. I hate Korn."
No, they randomly just like started touring again, and like they had a new album like kind of recently.
Oh wow.
So I just kind of started going back into like their older stuff, and obviously stuff I was listening to like around 6th, 7th grade, and I don't know, like there's a couple songs that definitely like hit and were good still for me, but yeah, it was just kind of like one of those things where you listen to all this music and it's time to just like go back and get a little nostalgia. So I haven't listened to their newest stuff, but it was kind of just like, oh yeah, I haven't heard that name in a while. Let's go back.
Yeah. And do you remember? Oh, sorry, Bear, go ahead.
No worries. I saw that like they put out an album like 2 years ago. Like their most, I don't know if this is the most recent one, but on Spotify they have one listed from 2019.
That's the most recent one. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is called The Nothing.
Yeah.
But between that and Follow the Leader, which came out in 1998, as you mentioned, there's a lot of Korn music that's come out.
Yeah.
Which is a little weird because I think we've talked about this before for some of the other bands we've like deep dived into. They've released at this point a lot more music than I've even come close to paying attention to. Like the sweet spot for Korn for me probably ended at like 2000. Probably right after Issues, and they put out more music since then than they did before, which is very strange.
Yeah, that's so funny because you're right. By that time, it was only 4 albums, and now it's up to
depending on what you count.
16,
best of and unplugged and some other shit.
Right, but that's fucking that's fucking.
There's quite
wild.
a bit.
Yeah,
they have not stopped working, even though I stopped listening.
Yeah, and that's such a funny way to look at it too, because when you discover something as a kid, think about it. How many like Well, no, I guess there were some like first albums that we discovered when we were kids, but like because of our age, it was usually around like the second or third when these big bands hit. Like for Korn, Follow the Leader's their third album, and that was the one that we were like, whoa. Limp Bizkit, Significant Others, their second. Blink-182, Enema of the State, second out. And it's like those were the ones. So it's like I think discovering something for the first time with their first album I think it's rare even today, but like
I don't know. I think you discover more shit now in the first album than
yeah, actually you do. And you know why? It's because of the singles.
Exactly. It's weird. Like, I remember when Follow the Leader came out and I first became aware of Korn, it was like, oh, they put out 2 albums. You can go back and discover the 2 albums they had put out previously.
Yeah.
Even this is a really weird example, but even Sugar Ray, like they had a huge hit with Fly.
Yeah.
And the 1459 came out. That's their third album.
Yeah.
You would find out about a band because of the strength of some random single or something.
Yeah.
It was kind of deeper in their career and you could go back and rediscover their older shit. And I feel like that happens sometimes now, but if you become aware of something because of a song you heard on the radio and it's like a new band, it's probably like their debut single. I don't know. I feel like it just doesn't work that way anymore where you're right. A band hit it on their third album, all of a sudden it's a fucking phenomenon.
Yeah, usually it's like it either happens on their first or like, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's all relative because we also discovered bands back in the day with singles too. But like, I agree. I think hearing things on the first album is maybe slightly more common today. A quick little note about Sugar Ray. I saw them live on my 26th birthday at the Greek Theater because my friend had tickets. It was like a bill with Sugar Ray, Uncle Kracker, and Smash Mouth.
I mean that.
Fuck off.
I was gonna say that's pretty sweet, but
yeah, thank you, Colby. It's fucking awesome. And I just want to say, Mark McGrath, what an entertainer! That guy knows how to work a crowd, and it's unreal. Like, and Bear, by the way, watch what you say because we might be able to get him on the show. I'm not kidding.
No. Of that lineup, Sugar Ray is by far the artist I'd be most interested in.
Yeah, and they sounded great.
That didn't surprise me, and it didn't surprise me that Mark McGrath is a great entertainer. He was actually excellent when he made the transition to TV. It was like kind of weird how good he was because he was the lead singer of Sugar Ray.
Wait, when did he transition to TV?
He was one of the co-hosts of, I believe, Entertainment Tonight forever.
Oh, you're right. I thought you meant like a scripted thing. I was like, what?
No. He became a
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like a TV host.
Yeah, dude, that guy has charisma to spare. Like, he's unbelievable. That guy, I could watch that guy shovel shit and he'd make it. I'd probably soothe me.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I do like him. No, I had more of a problem with Smash Mouth and the other band you mentioned, which I can't
Uncle
remember.
Cracker. I mean, Uncle Cracker really
I was so offended by it. I had to block it out.
Yeah. Smash Mouth, I mean, hearing All Star live for the first time was cool. Like, it's like, when are you ever going to hear that song live again? Like, by them? No, probably never. So that was kind of cool. But Colby, do you remember
playing it too?
Yeah. Oh God, could you?
Steve Harwell was just laying it all out that night.
Oh my God, Jesus. Colby, do you remember buying Follow the Leader? How did you get into? Was this the album that you got into Korn with?
Yeah, it was definitely the first one, and like I did do like kind of like a deep dive into like Korn after that, but like it's definitely not my like. Of the other albums, like there's a lot of other songs like I like more outside of it, but it was definitely the first album I got. And I still think it's like wild because, growing up, like that was like something I was allowed to get in, I think it was like 6th or 7th grade, like I said.
Wow.
But a year before that, I wasn't allowed to listen to, at the time his name was, Puff Daddy. I wasn't allowed to listen to Mo Money, Mo Problems, but I could listen to Freak on. So
wow. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what happens magically from 5th to 6th grade, but I just don't know. Like maybe because, the TRL thing was a big thing too,
I guess you're right. It does kind of happen. Like I remember, 6th grade, it was the same for me. 6th grade, I wasn't, no parental advisory. Absolutely not. No way.
Yeah.
And then for my 13th birthday, my parents finally were like, okay, like they're like, you're 13 now. And my dad he was like, and Blink-182's third album, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, came out that summer. And they were like, here it is. You can have it. This is the CD. Here it is. You can have it. But as long as you listen to this first. And he gave me Led Zeppelin 3. And I was like, and I remember being like, what? And I put it on and was like, fuck.
When it's time to make out, put on Led Zeppelin
Side
4.
1 of Led Zeppelin 4. That's what my dad said to me. Gives me the, but he's like, all right, you're Blink-182, but listen, now this year,
when it comes
down to making out, because you're going to be making out, Andrew. I know you're going to be making out. Put on side 1 or put on track 1 of Led Zeppelin 3. And funnily enough, coincidentally, this is 20 years ago this summer. I'm 33 now, and I just got a vinyl record player for my birthday, and I happened to get Led Zeppelin 3 and Blink-182 Take Off Your Pants and Jacket on vinyl. 20 years, like almost to the day, which is.
What do you anticipate your commitment to vinyl form being? Like,
I'm gonna
commit to go all in?
I can feel it. I think I am. I really like it. I find it so satisfying. It's like watching movies on film, except you get to own the prints, and it's not that hard to get the prints.
Interesting. Okay, what about you? Were you a Korn guy?
Yeah, I loved Korn. I fucking them and Limp Bizkit. I was super into.
I can't tell if you're kidding or not.
No, I'm dead serious. I love them. I love them.
Would you pick one? Like, if you had to pick one, which one would it be between Korn and
Limp Bizkit? Limp Bizkit. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because they're fucking awesome, dude. I was gonna see them last week. I'm serious. They were gonna play at the Palladium, and
yeah, tough to come back to that. Yeah.
Yeah. They canceled. Awesome. They canceled because of COVID, which I'm super bummed about. But I feel like for me, like for a 12-year-old angry kid, like Limp Bizkit was like the band. Like
I agree. I agree.
Like they were like, there was like, I listened to them and be like, they're fucking speaking my mind. Like, you know, like they're writing songs just for fucking me. Like, you know, it's like they were just right on the money for our age group. But I also really liked Korn because I thought that they kind of like Limp Bizkit has some like rap and stuff in there, but like I felt like Korn's was slightly more unique. Like Limp Bizkit may have been more like commercially, like more people might have liked them more at the time, I would argue. But Korn's was like that is fucking like, there is no one else that can do that. Like that is really cool. And like do it with such anger. Like he's basically like angrily beatboxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, this was I believe this was the one. It might have been Issues, but either way, I remember getting the Follow the Leader, the clean version, the CD.
Cool.
And I was so bummed, but I knew I couldn't like fake it. I knew I was never that kid, as much as my parents would like to think so. The irony of me wanting to swear so badly and be like, fuck this, you know, I was never that kid to even think about sneaking a parental advisory thing into our house. I was just like, if I do and they find it, I am fucked. Like I was like, my life will be over. I would never even dream of it. So mom and dad, if you're listening, yeah, I may still like saying fucking stuff, but I never even once thought about doing that. But I remember my sister was allowed before me to get parental advisory, and she really liked, speaking of Uncle Kracker, that Uncle Kracker song, Follow Me. And so my dad...
You don't have to specify which song. There's one and it's awful.
Yeah. My dad bought her the album, and it had a parental advisory sticker, and and she didn't care, so I scratched it off and put it on my Korn Follow the Leader. Because I was like, yeah, like now I feel like I have it, but of course I didn't.
That's really funny that you say that, because I used to pull the opposite move with my parents, because, and you and I have talked about this before too, but
yeah,
my parents were very strict on parental advisory. Was not allowed in the house till I was like maybe 15 or 16.
Oh wow, even later.
Oh, so late, unbelievably late. But I used to go to Best Buy and look for CDs that had a sticker that was outside of the plastic. So like sometimes there were CDs that would have like a big fucking sticker that said like top hits or something, and I would like I'm in The Great Escape forging fucking passports. like get
No
my
way.
nail underneath and try to extract the sticker off of like an ABBA CD, pull it off, and then just stick it over the parental advisory of the CD that I wanted. And that worked like clockwork.
Fucking way.
All the time.
That's
so then and then you'd throw away the plastic and they'd never see it because it's not on the because it's not on the
yeah, because they weren't keeping tabs of like
right. It's not on the booklet.
In my room, right?
Oh
they
my
weren't going through my shit. Oh, the motherfuckers got some.
Oh my God, that is genius.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, when I was like, 11, 12, 13, it's not like I had a ton of money of my own. So I had to like get my parents to buy me.
Yeah, right.
At the Best Buy, I know exactly what I wanted, but I'd spend a ton of time trying to find the right CD to target to get the right kind of sticker that would come off in one piece.
Genius.
And I'm not kidding. This was so hard. Like if you failed, fucked up, and it just didn't come off in one go, like you had to abandon that and find another CD.
Yeah. And if someone who worked like wherever you were at Sam Goody or whatever, if they saw you, you were in big trouble.
Oh, absolutely, yes. But I remember
they'd be like, you're tampering with merchandise, and then your parents would see it and they would know why. And it's like,
never got caught for this. But the funniest part about it was I would buy some, kind of out there stuff because my tastes were a little off the mainstream. So I remember buying like a Mr. Bungle album and with a big sticker on it that said like all the top hits. Like that Mr. Bungle does not have top hits. like number one chart topping. Like that's not what's going on. But my parents would see like, all right, whatever, he wants this. That was my signature move for a while in middle school.
And did you do this with Korn?
Didn't do it with Korn. With Korn, I had this was right around the time that CD burners became available, like late 90s. It kind of became something that you knew about. And then at a certain point, it became just like standard issue on if you bought like a desktop computer.
Right.
And if you remember back, a lot of them had 2 CD.
Yeah.
So you could load in whatever you wanted on the top and then a blank one on the bottom.
Yeah, and I remember you had to like do it at the right time and everything.
Yeah, it was a whole fucking process, a huge pain in the ass. But I had a friend whose parents just absolutely didn't care what he listened to. He had like all the Korn albums, and I know I had a burned copy of Fall of the Leader and the first 2 albums as well from him. So I had it, and not only that, but like if you pulled up on Spotify like we did today, we were driving around listening to Fall of the Leader as if it was just 1999 again, which felt really awesome.
Yeah.
The CD had, I think 12 or 13 tracks of just nothing before the album started. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I remember that.
But it was like
was that this one? Was that it was, wasn't it? Yes, I remember that.
And there was a sticker on the CD that said like featuring 48 seconds of silence or something.
Yeah, and it was
12 songs, like 2 seconds each. So the first track it's on started, I think it either track 13 or 14 on the album.
Oh my, I'm remembering all of this.
Yeah, so when you loaded it up in your CD player, you had to get to the 13th track for the album to begin, which is really weird. And I could not find an explanation about why they did that at all.
I know. I'm just about to look one up, but damn, it sounds like, okay.
I don't know. It was some kind of weird marketing gimmick, but it was.
Was there an acknowledgement of it?
Yeah, it was.
Like,
it was
at the Wikipedia. Like,
yes, when they talk about, not to give up all my sources, but in the Wikipedia, it does list under track listing.
Yes.
Original physical release features 25 tracks, 19 tracks, or 55 tracks.
Whoa.
The album starts with 12 hidden tracks, 6 hidden tracks. In interviews, Jonathan Davis also mentioned he was very superstitious and did not want to end an album on track 13.
Oh,
that's interesting. Later editions moved the silent tracks before the music, either with 12 hidden tracks of 5-second silence, 6 hidden tracks of 5-second silence, or 42 hidden tracks of 5-second silence.
Whoa.
The version I had was just track number 1 was nothing all the way to 13.
Dude,
or whatever
what the fuck?
It was just nothing. So Freak on the Leash is the second song, but it was when you're punching it into your little, Walkman or whatever the fuck, you'd like fast forward to 14 or whatever.
I'm remembering clicking
yeah
on my Walkman. Dude, that's fucking wild. Wow.
That's one of the most metal things ever, is just put a bunch of bullshit tracks in any of your CD. That's fucking awesome.
Fucking Lou Reed's Metal Machine. He just, like, that album is just static.
I'm not
because
as
you didn't know? I'm looking because I thought you would know. Hang on. This is some I feel like you're pretty good with trivia.
I am, and I like some Lou Reed, but I don't think I've owned a Lou Reed album.
I haven't either, but I just know it because a friend of mine told me. I was in a sketch that he did about it. Like, listen, so Metal Machine music album features no songs or recognizably structured compositions, skewing melody and rhythm for modulated feedback and noise guitar effects. And I think he did it because he was mad at his label. And they were like, you owe us an album in your contract, and he didn't want to do it, but like technically he owed it with them. And he was like, well, I don't give a fuck. Fine. You didn't say it had to be good. It could just be this shit. And it cost him some credibility, but it also, some people were like, oh, this guy's kind of interesting, and like wanted to work with them even more after that.
That's funny. I know.
Very interesting.
Since you're going way down the rabbit hole here, Phantomas have an album called Delirium Cordia that is one track that lasts the full 72 minutes of the CD. And it's a concept album of going through surgery without being put under. And I love it, but it's like a once a year listen, and that's it.
What the fuck?
You can't really put that on and like study or anything. Like, you got to kind of turn off the lights, get in that headspace, and have a weird.
That is wild.
Great album. But speaking of, Phantomas is a Mike Patton side project, and apparently, and I mentioned Mr. Bungle earlier, apparently a couple of the Korn guys found out about Mr. Bungle very early on and tried to emulate some of their sound. I'm a huge Mr. Bungle fan. I'd never really thought about Korn in that light. Korn definitely sounds like a bad version of Mr. Bungle, which is a compliment because Mr. Bungle is kind of unattainably good. Okay. But the usage of the bass kind of front and center and kind of having weird song compositions is kind of borrowed from Mr. Bungle. I don't think that Jonathan Davis is anywhere near close to the vocal capabilities of Mike Patton. But he tries. He does a bunch of different shit on this album, which I really respected.
Yeah.
And I guess I never really thought about that influence on Korn because I found out about this band when I was like 10 years old. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like you, I was like, oh, they're making songs for me. Life is so hard in the 5th grade.
Yeah. So Colby, you said that you got the 6th or 7th grade, and I can't remember, you liked them then, right? Like, you were stoked about it.
Okay. I think they were like probably my favorite of like that group. Like when you think about like that whole group, I think of like Limp Bizkit. You think of like Power Man 5000.
Oh hell yes, let's go.
Kid Rock,
Kid Rock, Orgy, like all those, like, I don't know. There was just something about them that they stood out a little bit more. They're a little bit different, and like you think about it now, it's like, whoa, like their lyrics, but like
they were not fucking around.
No, they weren't.
No, and their music is incredible, I think, and I think it still holds up to like this day. Like they do two guitarists that like do different things. Like it's not like the typical, if you have two guitars and they just play the same stuff together. Like they're doing different things. One thing that like, Bear and I disagree with, and he kind of mentioned it just a second ago, was the bass. I think, and in 6th grade, I actually started to learn to play bass because of Fieldy. Like he was such a unique bassist where he like, and hearing this album, like, the first track of like It's On, like you can hear him come in and it's like a clangy kind of stuff. And it's like, I actually looked and read up like an interview, and he was saying that, he like the guitarists are so low, he wanted to make something separate so like he would be heard and like it's like
yeah, dude. I agree with you. I think it's a work of genius because of how indelible it is. Like that's the first time I've ever heard. That was the first time I ever heard a bass sound like that. And every time I've heard something sound like that since, I think of Korn.
Yeah.
Every time.
I didn't read that interview, but when I was listening to it, it did occur to me too. Like, you've two guitarists, they're so down-tuned
that
they kind of like correctly surmise that they're getting all the low end they need out of the two guitarists. Like, they don't really need a bassist to fill that part of the sound while they're creating. So it's interesting that Fieldy figured that out and basically went with, okay, I'm going to turn this into another percussion instrument and turn it into another bass drum. I don't like it. Just straight up, I do not like how it sounds. It doesn't work for me. I feel like,
but does it not work for you? Does it not work for you like when you hear it other than Korn or including Korn?
No one sounds like Korn in this respect, except maybe the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who I also hate. But that can't be news to anyone here. The Korn sounds like the Red Hot Chili Peppers if John Frusciante.
You want to talk about vinyl?
Wow, that was right there. Wow,
just light your money. Just light your money on fire.
It was defective, and we're getting a replacement. So
if on that album, Californication, John Frusciante actually figured out that he has 4 other fucking strings on his guitar, they would sound.
Oh, God.
That guy is as uninspired as they get. That album sucks. Anthony Kiedis can't sing. But back
to what would you say to someone who would say, "Oh, why don't you do better?"
Why don't I do better?
Yeah, what would you say to someone that would say that to you? Like, what if you said that?
Why don't I do better?
What if John Frusciante said that to you? What would you say?
What if John Frusciante said to me that my criticism of his guitar playing is insufficient because I can't do better?
The same guy that plays for the Mars Volta?
I would say, yeah, and it's crazy because the Mars Volta kicks ass. I don't know why he fucked up.
At least
so
you're there.
bad
At least you're there
with the Chili Peppers.
Colby, at least you're there.
I would say when you make art, it no longer belongs to you; it belongs to your audience. So to say, "Oh, you can't do it," so you get to your criticism is invalid. I'd say, go fuck yourself. You put this out, and it's
right.
Like, it doesn't belong to you anymore. You don't get to sit on some high horse that you can do it. Everyone's criticism of your art doesn't matter. That's the most base, dumbest bullshit thing. If I criticize someone and someone comes at me with, "Oh, could you do better?" That's how I know I'm fucking right. Wow. That's like the last argument you make before you just put it.
Last line of defense. Yeah. No. You're not wrong. I'm just I respect that you're so like unapologetic with it. I truly I mean that, because like I feel like I can get afraid sometimes of being so like direct with certain opinions, but I really respect that you're like, no, this is fucking how I feel about it. Terrible. And again, you're not wrong.
The more apt comparison to Korn is probably Primus, because Primus is maybe the other.
Yeah, they actually do have a bass.
Other band that centers their bassist in a similar fashion.
Yeah, they do. You're right.
Primus does a better job of weaving the guitar around the bass line in their compositions. I feel like Les Claypool carries the momentum of all their songs.
Bear, are you
really delicate balance?
Yeah. Are you a musician? Do you play anything, or did you play anything?
Pay attention to shit. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah,
I can play a little guitar poorly, and I played the trombone in 5th and 6th grade.
But the way that you talk about it and what you notice, like, I'm genuinely impressed. And not only that, I'm surprised that you're not a musician.
I'm constantly tortured by hearing music I hate all the time.
All right, there. I mean, I play drums, and I can't talk about music like that.
You can ask my fiance how much it sucks to hear me yell about music.
Oh yeah, since we've been gone, Bear got engaged. Everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, very. And Jackie is she's an adequate choice. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. She's fucking awesome. We love her.
I listen to a ton of classical music.
Okay.
I read as much shit as I can to understand things. I don't like to have an opinion that I can't back up. This leads me to be what most people would consider to be a complete asshole.
No, I actually think it's pretty thoughtful. And no, I'm serious. What'd you say?
Nothing.
I understand why people would say that, but I also think that it's actually you coming at it from the standpoint of like, well, I don't want to look stupid or waste anybody's time. I don't really think it's about you wanting to be right all the time. Although, yes, of course, people like being right. I think it's you being like, no, I want to be informed. I want to be as informed as I can. And I also know you, and I know that like you're good at being like, oh, that's true. That's fair, whatever, this and that. And like, so it's coming from a good place, I think. But again, I respect it.
I will leave the Chili Peppers conversation for another time because I can go.
I think we should do one of their albums.
Into the rabbit hole about them specifically, but I will say that it's interesting to look at the late 90s and look at the music that came out during that time and how there were some common threads of some stuff. I read an interview with Jonathan Davis where he described Korn as a funk band. He was reticent to describe them as a metal band. That's very weird to me. Yeah, but then when I was listening to the album, I hear how Fieldy is providing a lot of the momentum for the songs.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The guitars are down tuned and heavily distorted, but yeah, I mean, if you changed some of the recording, you could be in a funk zone. They play a very slow tempo, which is very interesting, but I think that's more coming off of grunge, more than coming off of like metal. Even in that interview, Jonathan Davis said, I think of metal, I think of like Metallica and Judas Priest, and that's obviously usually much faster paced. Yeah. But if you go back and you think about Nirvana, Soundgarden, even like the early Pearl Jam stuff, like grunge was a slower paced version of metal.
Yeah.
The best about grunge is it married that 80s hair metal with like punk, and it ended up like somewhere in between. And then Korn is kind of the natural continuation of where do you go from that if you want to still make heavy music.
And they did have a lot of like weird like kind of like where it'd be like, the start of the opening track, it's on like to other songs in the album, like in between where there's like bridge or stuff like that. It's like kind of weird little like funk kind of things.
Yes.
I wouldn't describe it as that, but like,
but I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's funk adjacent. And, I mean that.
I agree with you. It's just funny to hear those two words.
It's like it's like funk adjacent in an alternate universe kind of, because it's like, there's a darkness to it, and funk's kind of always like, yeah, all right. It's like you're kind of feeling, it's very like.
I don't know if you looked up like a lot of the lyrics to a lot of these songs. I did. I don't love Jonathan Davis's lyrics. I don't know that he's a great lyricist, but it did occur to me that if you just read his lyrics, or if you read them and think about how you would make them into a lounge act, it translates very hilariously and very well. I was trying to find, I know there's someone, I can't remember his name, but there's someone in LA who does lounge covers of like metal songs, and it's fucking hilarious.
That is really fun.
But like if you read the lyrics to Got the Life, like I don't think I ever knew what the lyrics of the chorus of Got the Life were.
Yeah.
Until like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
But they are like, it's a lounge act. It's like, God paged me, said, have you seen the life? God told me. It's like so fucking funny.
That's so true.
When Jonathan Davis sings it, it sounds pretty cool. You kind of just buy it, but it's ridiculous if you read it without the context.
It's really funny.
That's like a big part of it. Like, I mean, then in 6th grade, like it's like I don't know what he's like talking about like at all. And then it's like you kind of like, oh, whoa, and we were saying when we were driving earlier today, like, there's a lot of stuff that definitely didn't age well with like all their stuff. But go back again though really quickly though, because like a lot of the music I listen to now is like, in the rock, like harder rock kind of realm. And like I didn't even realize it though, but like, there's like that funk kind of stuff that we were saying, but then they had those like instrumental like breakdowns, like those heavy like riffs, and it's like, dang, like maybe that's what like kind of led me like what I listen to primarily now. But it's really interesting. Like I wrote like when I was listening to this whole album, I wrote out like track by track, and there's some stuff that like I really liked, some stuff I didn't like, but then there was a couple where it was like lyrics no, but instruments amazing. Like
Yeah,
really
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what? So you talked about things not aging well, which I agree because I heard some of it, but what's Got the Life about? I feel like I missed something.
I have no idea what it's about.
I thought you were saying something in there didn't age well.
No, I think Got the Life
Okay.
just fine. I find it weird that it was the first video on TRL to be retired.
Mind blowing.
Wow, I did not know that, but that is very mind blowing. You would absolutely think it was in sync.
I just rechecked it because I was like, did I misread that? No, it was. That's weird to me because I don't think it's that good of a video.
No, Follow the Leader is a much better video.
Freak on a Leash.
Freak on a Leash. Excuse me. Freak on a Leash. Yeah.
It's a fine video. Like, it's fine. The song's pretty good. I think it serves as a really awesome showcase of like tracksuits, like zip-up jackets and pants. But I agree with you. I think Freak on a Leash is maybe one of the best music videos of all time. I'm not
amazing.
kidding. I think it is in the pantheon with like Sabotage, Smack My Bitch Up.
Yeah.
Maybe the one Britney Spears video where she has the chair. And I don't remember the other one, the one we were talking about earlier, the NSYNC one where they're puppets.
Oh yeah.
Bye. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, we couldn't. We thought we
knew the album name.
Yeah, we thought it was.
But
off the top of my head, those are the 5 best music videos of all time.
Yeah, but wait a minute. That what was I gonna say? Freak on a Leash. I hadn't watched it since I was a child. And rewatched it for this and was like, my mind was actually blown.
You know who directed it too?
I should, but I don't.
Todd McFarlane, who created Spawn.
Yeah, he did create Spawn.
And did the album art for the cover too.
For Follow the Leader? Yeah, makes sense. Wow. That's amazing.
It's a wonderful music video. I think it's even better today.
So
it is
better. I think it's even more timely. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like Bear came in last night, and then we were excited. We saw each other. We had a couple beers and stuff like that. But like, I went to bed and I was watching like random music videos, and I watched Freak on a Leash, and I was like, wow, this video is still like unbelievable.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. And I think that kind of leads me to the album.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's do like a track by track breakdown.
Before we do that though, just a quick little tangent in terms of the music videos. I did want to mention this too. This, when I went back and I was listening to like all their older songs, I think the best one from them was Thoughtless, which was on their Untouchables album. So like a couple years after. Yeah. And I was talking to Bear, and Bear realized it. But if you watch that music video, like Carter, like it might be interesting to you. Aaron Paul is the main guy of that music video.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's really cool. Yeah, he was in a Corn Pops commercial too. I remember those were those were some of his like big things before.
That too, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's briefly go through the tracks. It's On, love it. I think it's a great album opener. Is
the first thing he yells, does he yell Korn?
No, he yells "Come on."
Yeah.
Okay. Every time I hear it, I hear him yell Korn, which is awesome. So I am going to continue to believe that's what he's yelling.
Here, I'll even prove it.
Were you going on Genius? Okay.
Come on. Wow. Yeah.
It sounds like he's yelling Korn, which for that period of the 90s is fucking great to just yell.
Yeah. I mean, Fred Durst did it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fred Durst did it all the time. Okay, that's great. Freak on a Leash, classic. I mean,
I think it's honestly, I think it's their best song.
I agree.
I think
like ever.
Yes.
No.
Yes. What?
No, I think I'm with Bear.
No, outside of the album, listen to Thoughtless again. Like Thoughtless.
I'll listen to it again. But dude, Freak on a Leash. Freak on a Leash defines them. It defines them.
It might, but also it's a differently constructed song than a lot of their music. A lot of their songs, especially you get a little deeper in the album, they do the same kind of thing that like Audio Slave fell into, where they do like an unplugged version of the riff. They come in loud, everyone plays the riff, and then they just go verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, and the song is over. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the music ends up being, do I like the riff or not? Because there's not much else to chew on. Freak Unleashed does not use that same structure.
No.
It comes in super weird, very very not heavy till they get to the pre-chorus.
Yeah, and I always loved how it came in after it's on. Yeah, like how it goes right into it. I always love that transition.
Love that, and I the beatboxing weird shit is very interesting, kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
But when he switches from that to go, it's awesome. And when it's in the video and he yells at the bullet, it's fucking sweet. Like,
it's really amazing. Works.
And when I was talking about like breakdowns, like earlier, like that, like is a true, like that's probably the first one. And I didn't even know it then, like at that time, but like, like when he says go and then the instruments just hit, it's wonderful. Like, it's incredible.
It's excellent.
So good.
That's very good. I really think that's their best.
Great one.
They've ever made. I love it.
It is very good. Yeah.
Great one. Got the Life. Also very good.
Yeah.
Catchy.
Good. I got tired of that song. It used to be on the radio all the time. We were talking earlier too.
It kind of was. Yeah. It's like still on K-Rock.
It's by far like the fastest song they've ever played.
Yeah.
By a lot. Also, there is, I don't have this confirmed, but it really sounds like a Ted Levine cameo at about the 1 minute mark where he says, "Get your boogie on." It sounds
it sounds like Buffalo Bill.
Wayne's house.
Yeah.
And I listened to a live version of the song, and Jonathan Davis just says it. He doesn't even put anything on it. He's like, "Get your boogie on." Like it's, but like in the album, it sounds like they've got Ted Levine in the studio to do his fucking voice. You go, "Get your boogie on."
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Dead Bodies Everywhere. I definitely remember the chorus of that. I thought it was okay, not the most memorable.
It was not my favorite, but there are definitely songs that were worse on this album.
Yes, than that one. I agree.
It's awful, grinds the album to the halt, squanders the goodwill of the first 3 tracks. Terrible.
I mean, I was gonna say that first 3, what an opener.
Yeah.
That first 3, you're in, you're hooked. Those first 3 tracks are.
But like that was also
what a home run.
I almost feel like that was like a part of the time too, because like when I was like mentioning like all those other bands like Stack X, Orgy, etc.
Yeah.
But, like, there's a lot of these like, and you can look at like a lot of the other Korn albums too. They only have like a couple good ones. It's just it's kind of weird like how that's evolved now too. Like there's a lot of artists then like even outside of the rock realm where it's like they put out a couple singles, they're good.
Yep. You're right. Children of the Corn with Ice Cube. I completely forgot about this song.
I didn't because I remember him yelling, "I'm the firstborn." That said, I hate the song. It sucks.
I think it was also a bad song besides Ice Cube. Ice Cube was a welcome addition.
I thought Ice Cube was a really cool guest. I agree. I thought it was radical and different, but not a great song.
I love Ice Cube.
I do too.
This song is a good time capsule back to the late 90s where we thought that rap and hard rock were going to merge, and now it's very hard to explain to people, but it did seem natural at the time.
now you tell it to people and they're like, "Come on," what? And you're like, "No, it was real."
It was a real one, but I don't know what he's doing on this one.
All right, BBK. I remember thinking it was fine.
Don't like it. It's listed as the 3rd single release from this album. I can't understand that's a bad song.
Right.
I really like the intro, but after that,
there's a weird thing that happens throughout that song. It sucks.
Yeah. Pretty. No.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't dig it. All in the Family. Okay. All in the Family with.
This is the one where we were talking about has aged like a. Real firm turd.
All these things you're alluding to about like lyrics, like wow, like this one.
It aged like fucking milk. But I remember in '98, like I wasn't allowed the parental advisory, but my neighbor down the street was, and so he was like, "Bro, you got to come over and listen to the real version." And I did, and I just remember being like, I remember thinking I was gonna get in trouble for having heard it
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like that's how bad it was in terms of like, oh my God, everything they say is terrible. And not only that,
what did this sound like on the clean version of the album?
Just tons of bleeps. But the reason they kept it on there was because knowing that Fred Durst was on it was going to help them sell records. Like, because they should have just bleeped the whole thing, but it was like, oh, but they got a Fred Durst song, and if you want to hear it, this is your only chance. So,
it's weird. Like, I will say too on that one too. Like, I think Korn is a better band than Limp Bizkit. Mm-hmm. Like, that might be a crazy statement, but like,
no, I don't think you're wrong about that.
Korn is a more talented band than Limp Bizkit.
I agree. I agree.
Really good joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't dislike them. I think they're an awesome prank band. I think Korn is a artist.
Yeah. But I think I like Limp Bizkit more in terms of like, I think they're more popular in terms of the commercial way, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're better.
Yeah. But my point was that like Fred Durst is the best part of this song that like is not a good song. Like if you're gonna look for anything to save that song, it's him. Jonathan Davis is so awkward in this song, and just
I agree.
You pointed out that rhyme where he rhymes "wicked" with "suck my dick, kid," and it haunted you for years, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it all.
It is engraved in my mind.
It fucked me up too, dude.
It'll just like pop up randomly, even before I started listening to Korn again. Like, it's just like, whoa.
Oh
like,
yeah.
How is this in here still?
It's so fucked up because you know why? Because it's fucking traumatizing. Like, and when you hear that as a kid, a grown man, that's fucked up. I mean, like, I know he's like, it's art and there's a point to it, but it's like, dude, he was also on like a lot of drugs, and fuck the label for like, that is very dangerous language for like kids to hear. And that was Korn's demographic. Like,
and the very, very ending of that song too. Holy hell!
Like,
They do a great job of calling each other gay throughout the song, which again, time capsule back to the late 90s.
Yeah, my
most
God.
Male friendships were defined by calling each other gay in various ways.
Yeah,
which, and we have moved past the society, which makes a song like this stick out even worse because it's like, holy shit, is this? Is that legitimate?
It's ridiculous.
It becomes harder and harder to explain stuff like that as we get farther from it.
Yep.
It's not a good song.
No,
it sucks to listen.
And like, you know, that like Jonathan Davis had a terrible, like, he had an awful childhood, but like it's still like, this song is still like, that's like in the outer realms of like everything that like has happened, like, you know, like falling away from me and stuff like that.
I agree, because most of his songs and a lot of their hits are drawing heavily from his well of abuse and horrible things that have happened to him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's very real. I think that's why they resonate with people. And then you have a song like All in the Family, where a lot of that stuff is just kind of rendered a joke.
Yeah, and it's not funny.
It's just contrary to the seriousness in which he holds.
Right. Because the other songs, they're sobering and they make you listen, and you're like, all right, I see what you're trying to do. And this one, it's like, oh, so you're like making light of it. But I bet you, as a child of abuse, he probably thinks, well, I have license to say whatever I want about it. Which
he might, but it doesn't.
Yeah, he might.
It's in strong contrast to how.
Right. It's still not a good song.
No, bad, not great. Reclaim My Place. I don't like this song. I feel like this is one of the worst.
I thought it was okay.
I said okay too.
Yeah. This is a really good example of Fieldy playing a completely different song than the rest of the band. And it does bother me, though I do love the main lyrical theme of the song is just John Davis saying, "What the fuck," which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I do love that. I love the way the guitar comes in the beginning. Like, Justin, love it, always have. I love Justin.
I don't know how much I care.
Well, because the first lyric is "fuck all that bullshit," and I remember that same neighbor I had who let me listen to the explicit version would come over and talk about Korn, and he said that my dad because I would say like, my dad won't let me listen to Parental Advisory. He's like, dude, my dad walked in my room last night while I was playing that song, and it said "fuck all that bullshit," and he started going like this. and like bobbing his head, and I was my dad's the man. And I remember being like, oh man, my dad won't even let me buy it. Fuck! Like I was so bummed.
Square.
Yeah, fuck. What's your dad's name? Is he available? But I always liked the song too.
Yeah, I think it's considering like the songs before that, it's starting to like kind of like get better at that point.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I agree. And same with Bear. What did you think of Justin?
It's fine. I don't know. I don't really like it. Again, it kind of just falls into the same formulaic version of this kind of music.
Yeah,
where you've got a riff, it builds, it goes away for the chorus, or for the verse, it comes back for the chorus. If you like it, great. If you don't, it's like, it's fine. I don't know. It's fine. I kind of don't like it.
I get it. Seed. I liked it.
Love it. Amazing.
Yep.
This is the same thing, exact same structure, but the riff on this kicks ass.
Awesome.
This is one of the only songs where the guitars are front and center and Fieldy supports them, and it sounds fucking great. This sounds like a Deftones song. It's probably why I like it so much.
It's a great song. Like, Monkey and Header like in the helm of it. It's incredible.
I also don't think the lyrics are that bad. I think they're kind of interesting.
There's like
it's one of the ones that they're okay.
Or like the ending chorus that's super super weird, but
they're definitely fucking weird. But I just felt like this one was about something like specific that I could get my head around, and it was like telling a story. You know, it was logical. It wasn't just like some random shit thrown together. Not that all Korn songs are. I'm just saying that like this was an example of one that felt clear.
This one, they achieved the wall of sound aesthetic that when we talked about the Deftones last year, that the Deftones really do. This sounds like it is a Deftones song. I love Deftones. I think this song is pretty awesome.
Cannot believe you like the Deftones, and
I know you love
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
One of the best ever.
Deftones is great. Yeah, that was.
But Colby, hang on a second. He loves Deftones but hates the Chili Peppers. I mean,
well, one band is good.
Oh, give me a break. God, the Deftones put me to sleep when I'm already dead.
You had a hard time with that, which I respect. I respect you for yourself.
Well, I look, like you, I want to be informed and I want to like be committed and experience. I'm not just going to be a fucking bitch about it. However, I didn't watch all of Dr. Dolittle 2, and I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about that for years.
I know, yeah, but you're never gonna. You were so mad, but I mean,
that was about as fun as watching a loved one die.
Oh God, yeah. I'm surprised you didn't throw me in the lake at Zenzi's wedding because we saw each other like 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, I was salty.
That's amazing. All right, Cameltosis. I honestly like can't even remember this one.
0.
Awful. Why have it on here?
0. Okay. All right. My gift to you.
You just peaked with Seed and you go to this song. Like
I know. Yeah, they should have just said my gift to you. Love the bagpipes.
Personally, not enough bagpipes on this album.
Yes, I agree.
For a band that openly admits that they're influenced by Mr. Bungle, they do a bad job of incorporating other elements from other genres.
Yeah.
There should be bagpipes on like half the fucking song.
Yeah, I agree.
Kick ass. They're so unique. It's awesome in the intro of this song. The rest of the song isn't that good. The bagpipes are dope. Plus, the bagpipes on Chutes and Ladders from the previous album, amazing.
Oh, yes, that's a good song.
The first track of Issues, ridiculous. Like, so good. I have no idea why they go light on.
It was wild that like it took this long in the album to hear the bagpipes because you think about it, it's like like he would in concerts he would wear kilts and stuff, and you're like, oh yeah.
But think about this for a second. This album is the most commercially successful, and that's why Issues opens with them. I bet you that was like in their contract somewhere of like this album does well. Yeah, like you got to let us use it more next time because I bet you they wanted to, and I bet you their fucking label was like, no.
But that is largely the problem with a band like Korn that became hugely popular. Like Korn has a lot of potential to do very interesting shit.
Yeah.
But in the scenario you just described, where some A&R guy is regulating the amount of bagpipes on an album and they're fucking listening to it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for Korn.
Yeah, I do too.
Deal, but come on, give us more weird shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't
I
bow
agree.
to that pressure. And it seems like they always did to get success.
Well,
Whereas
think about it. They might have been
in
being
my world,
threatened.
Korn, half this album would be fucking bagpipes and Jonathan Davis beatboxing, and I'd be jerking off the whole time.
Which goes back to the point of like how they were the first, like they had a world premiere on TRL. Like you think of like Korn, it's like they really had a world premiere and they were the first retired video.
They were so fucking popular. I remember MTV Diary with Korn. Like I remember like, oh my God, dude, I was obsessed. And that's the thing is like a lot of people they were very mainstream.
And I would consider Korn metal. I would certainly consider
Me too.
They're the first new metal band.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
But they, as you can see, their radio play kind of tailed off after the Thoughtless album, the Untouchables.
Yeah.
No, I think Take a Look in the Mirror got some in 2003.
Okay, but we're still looking back 18 years. You don't hear metal bands like Korn anymore on K-Rock, on MTV, on the equivalent kind of mainstream.
You know what their last big one was? It was a cover of Word Up in 2004. And it's actually a really good cover.
What about Twisted Transistor in 2000?
Oh yeah, in 2005. Yeah, that got some play. That was kind of big. Yeah.
That's 2005. It's like I'm a guy.
It's been 16 years. Yeah.
I listen to a lot of metal still, and when I turn on the radio, I don't hear it anymore. When I was a kid, I turned that shit on. I would hear metal every once in a while, and that was awesome. And it doesn't have the same place in the popular zeitgeist that it did, and I feel like that's very sad. I don't know, Carter, if you watched the Woodstock 99 documentary.
I really want to. It's on HBO, right?
On HBO. I know Colby hasn't because I told him to, and he said no.
No, I mean, I'll watch it. I just haven't.
I want to watch it too. Yeah.
One of the things about the Woodstock 99 documentary that they harp on a lot is how there's a big spread of people in the audience who are there for different acts at the festival. And it goes from like Korn played there.
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit,
Kid Rock. Yeah.
Kid Rock, Megadeth. But also Alanis Morissette, Moby.
Yeah.
Jewel. And they make a big fucking to-do in that documentary. And I did not care for this documentary. And this is one of the reasons why. They make it seem like, oh, you have these really disparate crowds coming for these very different acts at this giant festival. And I'm like, dude, I was 11 years old in 1999, and that's the shit I listened to. That's the shit that was on the radio. Like you'd hear a Korn song, and then you'd hear an Alanis Morissette song, and then you'd hear a fucking Moby song.
I remember hearing about Woodstock 99 and wanting to go
100%.
Because of almost everyone that was there, not just like Limp Bizkit and Korn.
They make this huge deal that like, oh, these types of people shouldn't be at the same festival. And it's like, were you alive back then? That's what music was.
Yeah, Rage Against the Machine was there too.
TRL had Got the Life getting retired next to Britney Spears and everything else. Like if you were into music, you were exposed to some stuff that was a little bit.
That is such a good point.
And some stuff that wasn't. And that was fine. And Moby is in that documentary a lot, and he is a big piece of shit. And I know that I had to listen to a million Moby songs because he had that hit with Gwen Stefani, Southside, and it sucked ass. And I hated when it came on the radio, and it came on a lot. And he acts the whole time like he was in the wrong scene at that festival. He was in the absolute right scene, and he just sucks.
Wow.
So I don't recommend that documentary for being good, but I do recommend it for
I do want to watch it. All right. Finally, it's the hidden track within my gift to you, Earache My Eye, which no, I didn't like it.
I thought the instruments are good, but the vocals.
Yeah, vocal. That was because it's not Jonathan Davis.
Well, I mean the whole like talking before that was like why? It's like why? And,
right. But all right. I mean, that's the album. I got to be honest with you guys. This is still good for me, and I'm kind of surprised that I got there because I didn't expect to. Now, I had to drive with my windows down. I listened to it twice, and the second time I listened to it was earlier today. I listened to it earlier in the week, and Bill got our puppy got a little sick today. I think he kind of ate something funny, so he had a little diarrhea and threw up. And he threw up in the car. I had like a thing. I have like a little seat protector down, so all good. But I was driving with my windows down to get the smell out, and I was listening to Korn. And when I would pull up in traffic next to someone with their windows down, I would kind of turn it down because I would be like, "Oh, it's like I felt like someone was gonna like make fun of me or think I'm weird." So I'm like, "Why did I do that? I shouldn't be embarrassed. Like this is I genuinely like this, but am I just like, oh, people are gonna laugh at me? But am I crazy? Like, look, there are certain songs that I definitely didn't like, but like for the most part, I'm like, this is pretty fucking good. I'm into this." So that's where I'm at.
Colby.
All right. No, I completely agree with you, Carter. I think the album is top heavy. Like the first few songs of the cream of the crop. Yes. But they hold. And like, I mean, it's going back to like talking about like, I remember I listened to like you guys talking about, Limp Bizkit and stuff like that. Like, I think they hold way better. And I even like you said, like one song for Limp Bizkit held. And to me, that was a stretch. Like, I think Korn still holds. And like, yeah, there's some not good songs on this, but yeah, like there's a few of these songs that I would still listen to. And it goes back to your first question, Carter. Like I listened like randomly to them again, and it's like, it holds. It's good. Still good.
Holds up. I agree. Bear.
I do not like it anymore. I think my tastes have changed. It's probably their best album. It probably there's a lot of things that are good about it. I don't know. I just do not enjoy this sound anymore, which is insane. Because during that time, if you buy into the classical narrative of MTV at that time, where you had boy bands and metal, like I was certainly on the metal side of things.
Me too.
I don't know. I don't like it the way I used to. If I'm looking at track,
do you think it's because it's not as popular? Because I mean, think about it. When we were young, it was like, oh, everyone loves this shit. Like, yeah, like we're all into this. But I don't know though. But at the same time, you like what you like.
Yeah, their sound remains unique. It remains not really copied in any significant way by other artists. I just don't like it as much anymore. I really think "Freak on a Leash" is an awesome song.
It is, yeah.
But I haven't heard "Got the Life" in years, and I still am fucking tired of that song.
Okay.
I don't know. I did not like it as much as I thought I would have, given how much I listened to it when I was younger. I don't know. It's not a bad album. It's really a coin flip for me, whether it's still good or not. It is a really, really good window back to that time. Like if you're wondering like what did people like, this is probably the best representation of like we had boy bands, we had some like post-punk shit, we had grunge dying, and then we kind of had new metal, and this is a great example of what new metal was. All the reviews and stuff I read heaped praise on how aggressive this album is. I don't really like some parts of it are, but it's so slow. Right. It's like kind of more depressing than anything.
I remember Issues being scarier, like darker and scarier. This one wasn't. This one definitely had some fucked up shit in it, and definitely had some like macabre little flashes. But like I remember Issues like falling away from me. I remember being like genuinely scared of watching that video.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the sequel to
Freak on a Leash.
Freak on a Leash.
It picks up right at the same time.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, it's because it's in the fucking neighborhood. Yeah.
I think Freak on a Leash. I really think it's a top 5 music video of all time. It's
amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it when we're done. I'm gonna watch it again.
I just don't like it as an album. I wish I had more. I don't. The things they do that
are not cohesive to you.
It's not cohesive for a number of reasons, but even when it is, I get annoyed by the fieldy style of bass over the guitars.
Sure.
And I hear I ragged on Sum 41 for having 2 guitarists and never highlighting it. Korn highlights it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't get into it like I used to, and it bums me out. So it's like no, but I'm sorry.
Hey, to each their own. You know what? That's one of your softer no's. But listen, we got 2 against 1 here. So
I'll take the loss. I don't know. It's fine.
I'll take the loss. All right. You heard it here first, everybody. Korn's follow the leader, still good. I thank Colby because without you, man, I don't know.
Oh man,
would have been a draw. We would have had to leave it to the crowd, which we'll still do. If you're listening and you feel differently, let us know. You can find us on Instagram at stillgoodshow. You can send us an email, stillgoodshow@gmail.com. Let us know if you think it's still good or if you think it sucks, whatever. And we really want to thank Colby for coming on the show. Colby, did you have a good time?
I had a great time. Thanks for having me.
Well, this was awesome. Michael, Bear, welcome back for season 2. We'll see you guys next time.
We're back.
We're back, baby. All right. For Bear Kennedy, I'm Andrew Carter.